The Zeltharian prison warden's 4 eyes gleamed with cruel satisfaction as he sealed the reinforced cell door. Inside, Marcus Chen sat cross-legged on the cold metal floor, his breathing steady despite the circumstances. Across from him, chained to the far wall with bonds that could restrain a starship, was something that made even the galaxy's most hardened criminals whisper prayers to forgotten gods. The Void Reaper stood 12 feet tall, its obsidian carapace gleaming under the harsh, fluorescent lights. 6 arms ended in razor-sharp claws that could slice through battle armor like tissue paper. Its elongated skull housed a mouth filled with rows of teeth designed for one purpose: tearing flesh from bone. The creature had been captured after it single-handedly destroyed an entire colony on Kepler 442b, leaving nothing but scattered bones and the echo of screams. "Enjoy your last night, human," Warden Crickstall had sneered through the door's comm system. "Perhaps the Reaper will make it quick." The other prisoners had fallen silent in their cells, waiting for the inevitable sounds of slaughter. Some had even placed bets on how long the human would last. The smart money was on 30 seconds. Marcus had been imprisoned for what the Galactic Council termed excessive force during diplomatic negotiations. In reality, he had defended a human colony from slavers using methods that made the alien bureaucrats uncomfortable. Humans, they had decided, needed to learn their place in the cosmic hierarchy. As the hours ticked by, Marcus studied his cellmate. The Void Reaper's breathing was labored, its movements sluggish. The creature was clearly in pain, though it tried to hide behind a mask of predatory menace. "You're hurt," Marcus said quietly, his voice cutting through the oppressive silence. The Reaper's head snapped toward him, 6 compound eyes focusing with lethal intensity. A low growl rumbled from its throat, a sound that had been the last thing hundreds of beings had heard. Marcus didn't flinch. Instead, he slowly removed his prison jumpsuit's torn sleeve and approached the creature. The Reaper tensed, claws extending, but something in the human's demeanor gave it pause. "Easy," Marcus murmured, the same tone he might use with a wounded animal. "I can see the infection in your lower left arm. That green discharge? It's going to kill you faster than any execution." The creature's growl intensified, but it didn't strike. Up close, Marcus could see that beneath the terrifying exterior was a being in agony. The wound was clearly from the capture, a festering mass where the prison guards had used energy weapons to subdue it. Without asking permission, Marcus began cleaning the wound with water from the cell's basic hygiene station. The Reaper could have ended him with a casual swipe, but it remained perfectly still, watching with an intelligence that surprised the human. "The guards don't care if you die from infection," Marcus explained as he worked. "They just want you to suffer first." Typical bureaucratic thinking, efficient cruelty. For the first time in decades, the Void Reaper spoke, its voice like grinding metal. "Why?" "Because I've seen enough unnecessary suffering for one lifetime," Marcus replied, fashioning a crude bandage from his sleeve. "Besides, if you're going to kill me, I'd prefer you do it at full strength. Makes it more sporting." The creature's laugh was like breaking glass. "You are not afraid?" "Terror and action aren't mutually exclusive," Marcus said, finishing his makeshift medical work. "I'm terrified. But fear is just data. It tells you something is dangerous, not that you should stop thinking." The Reaper studied him with newfound interest. "Your species is young, weak. Why do you fight as if you are apex predators?" Marcus leaned back against the wall, considering the question. "Maybe because we spent most of our evolution being prey. Every other species in the galaxy evolved as the dominant life form on their world. Humans, we were hunted by everything: bigger predators, diseases, other humans. We learned that the only way to survive was to be more stubborn than the universe. And now you think you can conquer the stars? Not conquer, survive. There's a difference." Marcus gestured around their cell. "Look where we both ended up. The galaxy doesn't want predators or prey. It wants compliance. But some of us are too stubborn to lie down and die when ordered to." The Reaper was quiet for a long moment, processing this philosophy. When it spoke again, its voice held something that might have been respect. "On my world, strength determines leadership. The strong command, the weak follow. But you tend to the wounded enemy, knowing it could destroy you. Different kind of strength, Marcus said simply. As dawn approached through the cell's single porthole, the Reaper had shared stories of its homeworld, a harsh planet where only the strongest survived, where mercy was seen as weakness. Marcus spoke of Earth, of humans who threw themselves into burning buildings to save strangers, who stood in front of tanks for principle, who refused to abandon their wounded even in hopeless situations. When the warden arrived with his guards, to collect what they expected to be human remains, they found Marcus asleep against the wall. The Void Reaper sat beside him, its massive form serving as a protective barrier. "Release him," the Reaper commanded, its voice carrying an authority that made even the heavily armed guards step back. "The human is a prisoner." Warden Crixtall began. "The human is under my protection," the creature interrupted. "You will release him, or I will show you why your predecessors built these chains." The warden's 4 eyes darted between the calm human and the protective monster. In the creature's posture, he recognized something that chilled him to his core. Loyalty. Not the mindless obedience they had expected, but the conscious choice of an apex predator to serve. As Marcus was escorted from the cell, he heard the HFY Reaper speak one final time, its words carrying across the entire prison block. "Tell your Galactic Council that they have awakened something they do not understand. Humans do not just survive, they inspire. And now they have the Void Reapers as allies." The warden's hands trembled as he sealed the release documents. In trying to humble one human, they had potentially created the most dangerous alliance in galactic history. Marcus walked free that morning, but he carried with him something more valuable than freedom. Proof that even monsters could recognize strength when they saw it. The galaxy would soon learn what humanity had always known. Sometimes the greatest victories come not from conquest, but from the simple act of refusing to become what your enemies expect you to be.